Wasn't that ready. Sorry. Just give me 1 second. I need Carmex. The HD version really highlights my perinatal dermatitis sometimes, and it really freaks me out. I'm like, God fucking damn it. Now I have my Carmex. My nose is... Sniffles are sniffled. Okay, now I think
Ready?
I need to...
You're good?
I'm good.
Cool. Hi, Ollie.
Hey, Danny.
And hello to all of you wonderful people. Now, you just clicked on a video that is about to explain what CBT is. And what that suggests to us is that you are either a professional like Ollie and myself, and you just like nerding out over the shit, or you are someone who is interested in understanding mental health. Maybe you're a skeptic and you've had a poor experience in the past, or maybe you've never gone to therapy and all you have as a reference are the highly dramatized depictions that you see on TV and movies. Or maybe you're really interested to improve your mental health, but it's hard to navigate therapy when there's so many different kinds of therapies and therapists, and how does it all compare to everything else out there today that's trying to tell you how to live a healthy life? Well, whoever you are, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of your attention today. We are Freudian Slips, and today we want to clear some things up to potentially help to make your next move in growth a confident one. We are going back to basics and giving you the inside therapy scoop to answer the question, what is CBT and why you need it?
So let's start off by understanding the problem with modern therapy today. So you'd think that in 2026, with mental health all over social media, more people would be in therapy. But a lot of people still aren't. And there's not just one reason. It's a mix of barriers and beliefs. So first, there's the obvious one, cost and access. Therapy can be expensive, confusing to navigate, and hard to actually get into. So even people who want help sometimes just can't get it. But beyond that, there's a quieter, more modern kind of stigma. It's not really therapy is for crazy people anymore. It's more like, I should be able to handle this on my own. A lot of people minimize their struggles. They think other people have it worse, or it's not bad enough to justify therapy, so they push through, even when they're overwhelmed. There's also fear of being judged, misunderstood, or not knowing what therapy is actually like. And if someone had a bad experience before, that can shut the door completely. And then there's culture and family messages. Some people grew up hearing that you don't talk about your problems, or that needing help is a weakness. So when you put it all together, it's not that people don't believe in therapy, it's that a lot of people don't believe it's for them.
So when people aren't going to therapy, they don't just do nothing. They tend to look for alternatives. And that's where positive psychology really starts to take off. So if therapy feels too expensive, too intimidating, or not for me, people turn to things that feel more accessible, like self-help, podcasts, social media, and mindset work. Positive psychology fits perfectly into this space because it's simple, it's hopeful, and it feels actionable. It says, focus on your strengths, practice gratitude, change your mindset, and you can feel better. And for a lot of people, that's really appealing. It doesn't require vulnerability with a stranger. It doesn't force you to dig up painful experiences. It feels safer and more in your control. But here's the catch. When positive psychology becomes a substitute for deeper work, it can turn into avoidance. Instead of processing pain, people try to outthink it. Instead of understanding themselves, now it's more about optimizing themselves. So the rise in positive psychology isn't random, it's filling a gap. It's what people reach for when therapy feels out of reach or out of alignment.
So if positive psychology is filling a gap, the question becomes, what's missing? And this is where therapy really matters. One of the biggest differences between therapy and things like positive psychology is that therapy makes space for discomfort instead of bypassing it. In therapy, you don't have to reframe your feelings too quickly or turn everything into something positive. You can actually sit with anxiety, grief, anger, or shame and explore where it comes from and what it's trying to communicate. Therapy also looks at patterns over time, not just how do I feel today, but why do I keep ending up here? That might include attachment patterns, past experiences, trauma, or learned coping strategies that once made sense but no longer serve you. And importantly, therapy is relational. It's not just tools or mindset shifts. It's a real human relationship where patterns show up in real time. That relationship itself can become part of the healing process. So where positive psychology might ask, how can I think more positively? Therapy asks, what's happening underneath this? And how do we actually work through it together?
And for a lot of people, a really good starting point is something called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT was developed in the 1960s by a psychiatrist named Aaron Beck. And at the time, a lot of therapy focused heavily on past and unconscious processes. But Beck started to notice something different. His patients' current thoughts had a huge impact on how they felt. So he developed a more structured, present-focused approach that helps people identify unhelpful thought patterns, challenge them, and change behaviors in real time. Over time, CBT became one of the most widely researched and evidence-based forms of therapy, especially for things like anxiety and depression. And today, it's often one of the first approaches people are introduced to when they start therapy because it's practical, collaborative, and gives you tools that you can actually use in your daily life.
CBT is helpful because it's structured, practical, and approachable. It focuses on the connection between your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. Basically, how the way you think shapes how you feel and what you do. So instead of just saying, be more positive, CBT helps you actually examine your thoughts. Like, is this thought accurate? Is it helpful? Where did it come from? And it gives you tools to shift those patterns in a realistic way. What makes CBT such a good entry point is that it doesn't require you to go all the way into your past right away. It meets you in the present and gives you skills you can use immediately, while still opening the door to deeper work over time. So if positive psychology is about building strengths, CBT is about understanding the system underneath and giving you a way to actually change it. And that combination, that's where real lasting growth starts.
So how does CBT actually work? There's a core idea in CBT that can completely change how you understand your emotions, and it's this. You don't actually react to events. You're reacting to your interpretation of those events. Two people can go through the same exact situation and walk away feeling completely different. One person might think, well, I messed that up. I'm terrible at this, and feel anxious or ashamed. Another might think, well, that didn't go the way that I wanted, but I think I can learn from it, and feel disappointed but still motivated. Same event, different outcome. What changed is the thought. And this is where CBT introduces something called the cognitive triangle. The triangle shows that our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all connected and constantly influencing each other. So let's break that down. Your thoughts are the interpretations or the meanings you make about a situation. Those thoughts influence your emotions, how you feel, and those emotions will drive your behavior, what you do next. But this relationship is cyclical and can be triggered at any one of these points. Your behaviors can reinforce your feelings, and your feelings can shape the way you interpret things. So if you think, I'm going to fail, you might feel anxious and then avoid the situation. And that avoidance then reinforces the original thought. And that's the cycle that CBT is trying to interrupt. Instead of just saying, be more positive, CBT helps you slow down and ask, what am I telling myself right now? Is the thought accurate? And how is it helpful? Because when you shift the interpretation, even slightly, you can start to shift the entire triangle.
And this is exactly where positive psychology or other forms of self-help can fall short. Because if the real driver of how we feel is our interpretation, not just the situation, then simply telling someone to think positive skips a really important step. It doesn't ask, what's the thought that's actually happening right now? Where did it come from? And is this even accurate? Instead, it jumps straight to replacing it. But here's the problem. If a thought feels true, your brain isn't just going to swap it out for something more positive. That's not how our minds work. If someone is thinking, I'm not good enough, and we tell them to think, I am good enough, it can actually create resistance because it doesn't match their internal experience. This is where CBT is different. CBT doesn't start by trying to make your thoughts more positive. It starts by making them more accurate and more balanced. It slows things down and helps you identify the actual thought, understand the pattern, and then gently challenge it. So instead of jumping from I'm a failure to I'm amazing, it might move towards something like, okay, I don't do well in this moment, but that doesn't define me. And that shift works, not because it's blindly positive, but because it's believable. So the difference is this. Positive psychology often asks, how can I feel better right now? CBT asks, what's actually happening in my mind and how do I change it in a way that sticks?
So at this point, you might be wondering, why does CBT work so well? One big reason is that it's collaborative. So in CBT, the therapist isn't just telling you what's wrong or giving you advice. They're working with you, helping you slow down, notice patterns, and ask better questions about your own thinking. It's not, here's the right way to think. It's more so, let's look at this together, and what do you notice? And that collaboration matters, because it's really hard to see your own blind spots from the inside. We all have patterns that feel normal to us, even when they're not helpful. Having another person there, trained to notice these patterns, can help you see things you literally couldn't see on your own. It also creates accountability and consistency. It's one thing to know a concept. It's another thing to actually apply it when you're anxious, overwhelmed, or triggered. A therapist helps bridge that gap. But there's also a deeper reason why CBT works, and that's the science of neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change and rewire itself over time. Every time you practice noticing a thought, challenging it, and responding differently, you're not just thinking differently, you're actually strengthening new neural pathways. At first, it feels effortful, maybe unnatural, but with repetition, those new patterns become more automatic. So CBT works because it's not just insight, it's practice. It's repeated, intentional shifts in how you think and behave, supported by someone who helps guide that process. And over time, those small shifts don't just change your thoughts, they change your brain.
Now, we love giving people practical tools, and this would have been a great opportunity to teach you a classic thought journal exercise, but we actually already did that in a previous episode, so go watch that one. Today, we want to give you a CBT-based exercise that doesn't start with your thoughts, it starts with your behavior. Because sometimes when you're overwhelmed, overthinking isn't the solution. You don't need a better thought, you need a different action. So this exercise is called opposite action. Here's how it works. So step 1 is notice the urge. Think about a recent moment where you felt stuck. Maybe anxious, down, or unmotivated. Ask yourself, what did I feel like doing in that moment? So for example, when you felt anxious, did you want to avoid something? When you felt down, did you want to isolate or stay in bed? So try and think of examples and situations like that.
Step 2 is identify the pattern. Our emotions often come with built-in action urges. So whenever I feel anxious, I might want to avoid. Whenever I feel depressed, I might be urged to withdraw, or whenever I feel shame, it might really influence me to want to hide. And while those urges make sense, they often keep the cycle going.
And now for step 3, do the opposite. Gently, not perfectly. And I think that's the key. So now ask yourself, what would the opposite of that urge be? If you want to avoid, approach just a little. If you want to isolate, reach out, even briefly. If you want to shut down, take one small step forward. And notice, we're not talking about huge changes. This could be as small as sending one text, stepping outside for 5 minutes, or starting a task for just 2 minutes. So this does not need to be all or nothing.
And step 4, observe what happens. So after you do the opposite action, check in with yourself. Ask yourself, well, how do I feel now? Did anything shift, even slightly? Because here's the key idea. Sometimes you don't think your way into feeling better, you act your way into feeling better. And over time, these small behavioral shifts start to break that cycle. You're showing your brain something new, that I don't have to follow every emotional urge. And that's where real change really starts to happen. Please remember that change doesn't happen overnight. CBT is about repetition and practice. So if you're looking to try this one out for yourself, start with something small and give yourself a few weeks to collect some data points. If you only try this exercise once or twice, when you get to step 4 and check in with yourself, you're likely to feel the same, maybe even a little bit worse because what you just tried is so new. This is why pairing this exercise with a nice thought journal would be a great idea, and trying this out with a therapist would be even better. But in any case, give yourself time and stick with it.
So if we zoom out, here's what we talked about today. A lot of people aren't going to therapy. Not because they don't believe in it, but because of barriers like cost, access, fear, and this quieter belief that I should be able to handle this on my own. And when therapy feels out of reach, people naturally turn to alternatives like positive psychology, self-help, and mindset work. And those things can be helpful, but they're not the full picture. Because we don't just react to what happens to us, we react to how we interpret what happens. And those interpretations shape our emotions and our behavior in powerful, often automatic ways. That's where therapy, and especially approaches like CBT, can make a real difference. Therapy gives you a space to slow things down, understand your patterns, and actually work through them, not just think over them. It's collaborative, it's structured, and it's supported by someone trained to help you see what's hard to see on your own. And that part matters.
Because insight is hard to build in isolation. Change is really hard to sustain without support. And we have all the blind spots that we can't fully catch by ourselves. So reaching out to a trained professional isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you're willing to understand yourself more deeply and to do something different. You don't have to wait until things are bad enough. You don't have to have it all figured out before you start. Sometimes the most important step is just deciding that you don't have to do it alone. And that's really what therapy offers, a place to do the work with someone who knows how to guide you through it. So friends, we want to thank you very much for listening. Please, if you enjoyed this episode, give us a like, a share, subscribe, comment down below with topics that you'd like us to cover, and please head over to our website, freudianslips.co, for resources and more. Ollie, I'll see you next week.
See you next week, Danny.